So a bit of a social media update, a tale of three brands, if you will. Oftentimes I'm being asked who's doing a good job, who isn't doing a good job, or to talk about some brands in the space. And I thought I would maybe just give you a little bit of an update on a variety of levels. So company number one is JetBlue. I mean, JetBlue has been through the trades. They had the people stranded on the tarmac for over 10 hours. They've had one of the first brands to hit 1 million followers on Twitter. They've definitely emerged as one of the darlings of social media. But they had a little bit of a whoopsie, a little bit of a speed bump with Steve Slater, the Charles Bronson of customer service, if you will. A flight attendant who really just had enough of rude passengers, probably passengers like me, and he just let loose with a bunch of expletives, kicked everybody off the plane, chugged down a six-pack of beer, and then rode the emergency chute to freedom or captivity, and he became a hero and a villain at the same time. What was so interesting about that incident is that JetBlue were gagged. They remained silent. They didn't comment on Twitter. They virtually didn't comment except to say no comment. There was nothing on Facebook. You'd almost think it didn't exist. And of course the question is, if a brand has been able to earn so much social capital and street cred in terms of being a conversationalist and joining the conversation, are they conspicuously absent by not then continuing and being consistent in that same manner? Now, other people like Steve Rebel have said, actually, you know, when a brand does so much right, they actually earn almost like a get out of jail free card, which I'm sure Steve Slater could have used as well. So just an interesting case study in terms of thinking about when you actually do go down this path of transparency and accessibility and joining the conversation, when is it okay to remain silent and when is it okay not to? Example number two, Dunkin Donuts. Brilliant Facebook activation where instead of employees of the month, they have customers of the week or fans of the week. So their own profile picture is in fact their own customer. Love that idea. Very consistent with Flip the Funnel. But what's interesting is they had a little bit of again, another kerfuffle or speed bump with respect to being attacked by porn websites and spammers. And the really egregious thing here is that it happened during the week, during office hours, where for almost 9 hours it went by completely undetected, where literally every single wall post was porn, was spam. So I think the message again, even if you are on Facebook, even if you are doing a good job, in fact maybe especially if you are there and part of what is considered to be a really advanced activation, is keep your eye on the ball and don't drop the ball. And 9-hour turnarounds and response times are just not acceptable. They're just, you know, that's almost like running a marathon and then in the final 100 yards, your shoelaces aren't tied, you trip and you break your neck. There's no point in that. Final example is just a little bit of a recap on Dove's campaign for real beauty. I've been doing a lot of presentations around the world lately for one of my clients, talking about social media and talking about innovation. And the one thing that I realized when I looked at Campaign for Real Beauty and then Slob Evolution, which was the follow-up, the spoof that was created, and then I looked at their second attempt called Onslaughter, and then Greenpeace's spoof called Onslaughter, is that, you know, sometimes when you've got a really good thing going, like Campaign for Real Beauty, why try and recreate the wheel again? Why move on so I guess the way I would describe it is go deeper instead of going wider, instead of trying to invent the next big idea and try and recapture lightning in a bottle. One of the interesting things is when I look at Dove's advertising today, they seem to have been scared off. They seem to have gone back to their old, traditional, more comfortable, safer ways. To me, that's a pity. And so I think the message again to you as a brand marketer, is when you do finally crack the code, don't get bored, don't get ADD, don't get MDD, marketer deficit disorder, and move on to the next thing, the next big thing. Focus on going deeper as opposed to going broader. So those are my updates. Jaffe@powered.com, @JaffeJuice on Twitter.
It's time to flip the funnel now. Pick up a copy of my new book, available wherever books are sold.